This is actually some data that came from one of the public schools in British Columbia. And this is a school that was on BC's list of one of the 5 most vulnerable schools in our province, with the identification data with students at risk when they entered schools. They began implementing response to intervention in 2006, focused on the area of reading. If we look at traditional school data, they had approximately 60% of their students, the green bar shows that 60% of their students were reading on grade level before the implementation of response to intervention. The yellow, between 60 and 80%, they had about 20% of their students who were at risk. And they had another 20% of their students, they're between the 80 and 100%, that were significantly below grade level in the area of reading. After they implemented response to intervention, this school, you can see, they had 80% of their students reading on grade level. And that was just with that one school that focused on response to intervention just in the area of reading. I mentioned that I have some experience as a teacher living through the implementation of this model. We did lots of wonderful things. We saw these results, if not better, in our school with improving reading comprehension. But I'll be the first one to say there were so many pieces about what we're doing in Nanaimo Ladysmith Public Schools that we were missing in our work. We were missing the whole piece of looking at self-regulated learning, of really looking at creating positive learning environments. We only focused on reading, and wow, what a missed opportunity. I sort of have those moments where I want to redo with some of those students. I want to go back and do it again because I can see where, as a teacher, reflecting on that, I wish I would have had the knowledge that we're really working to build here in Nanaimo Ladysmith Public Schools. I keep looking to see if he has anything to add. Because the one thing you don't want to do is over-talk your superintendent. So this is actually, and you have at your table part of the Nanaimo Ladysmith Public Schools graphic for response to intervention. Almost every district that has RTI in place has a triangle, and some of them have upside down triangles, sideways triangles. It really doesn't matter which way you turn your triangle. It's all about the same ideas. It's having this tier 1, this green area, refers to the universal high quality practices that we're using in our schools. It's about us being proactive to ensure that we're doing everything we can that students are successful within their classrooms. Having systems of support, the yellow represents a strategic tier 2 for a small group of our students, and tier 3 is very intensive targeted support. And we'll break those down in a little bit more detail in a minute just to give you an overview. What's different about this triangle from anything that you're going to see anywhere else in the world is that blue background in the back. That's collaborative teams. That we're really investing in schools having very positive, proactive, forward-thinking collaborative teams, having collaborative teams at the district level that support them. It's called Learning Support Services Team, so that when we have classrooms that are really struggling, we have teams of professionals that include multidisciplinary, speech-language pathologists, counselors, school psychologists, instructional coordinators, assistant superintendents, all coming alongside our classrooms that are struggling to really bring support and actually come into the classrooms and look at how to enhance the learning there to increase the success for all students. Do you have any questions so far or thoughts just beginning this conversation?
My only one is how you can afford it when we've got we had a note the other day saying you had a $5 million deficit, and you can't even afford right now to get learning assistants. They're cutting them left, right and centre, and then suddenly, whoa, you've got this money for this. That's my biggest question.
This actually
goes to the district, that's not yours, but that's what's going through my mind is it's all great, sounds wonderful in the ideal world, but suddenly where are you getting this money from, which you haven't even put into the system now and helping children? And
Actually, most of it is in the system now. This model
but it's failing children now.
But that's why we're changing.
Yes. Yeah, but it's not rocket. They're saying there isn't enough money for learning assistants for children. They're cutting back.
Are you talking about educational assistance?
Yes.
Okay. No, there's lots of money for EAs.
But there isn't.
Well, there is.
When you need it.
Well, but hold on here. I think the The answer to the question is, and it's a good question, because we don't have a lot of money. As a matter of fact, we are heading into a budget exercise where we have to clear off about 5 million in our deficit. But this model isn't about hiring a bunch of additional people. This is about redeploying the current staff into teams, interdisciplinary teams.
I'd like to know where these people are, because we've been asking for help and there's never been help for our kid. Well, my particular, I know there's a few other people, and then
Yeah.
suddenly these people appear because it's under a new brand, a new image, a new labelling, and it should be there. I'm not saying, I'm not criticising you at any stage, but I'm just saying, to me, I'm just seeing it from another point of view, is, whoa, there's suddenly they've got it. Where is it? Why now?
Well, and again, great question. I think, and I've heard that question before from other parents. Why now? It's because we have this problem.
But it needn't to be. But you're saying you've got these people. You just said they're here. We've got them in place, and you've got the money for assistance. But they haven't. You've been taking out assistance. Our school's got less assistance, and you know, and unless you fall under a severe category, your child doesn't get help. So. It sounds wonderful.
And that's what's different about this model. And, you know, obviously we all wish historically we would have been doing this work in this way. And it wasn't that there was anybody that wasn't giving their very best. I know as a teacher, I poured my heart into every student that came in my classroom. Was I more effective when I was empowered to work as a collaborative team under this model? Absolutely. Kids that would have fallen through the cracks in my classroom, and I'm just being honest and real, that kids who would have fallen the cracks historically didn't. And it's not that there wasn't an investment of people's passion, of their professionalism. It's just the research is just growing in these areas. And you have a leader now that is really taking the direction. So it's not that we weren't doing our best before, but now it's time to kind of go in a different direction so we don't have those stories 10 years from now. So it's really about looking at, and in every situation, in every school I've worked with throughout North America and working with this model, everybody's always anxious because there's never any more money. And that's why this model becomes even more critical, because we have to use the people we have as effectively and as proactively as possible. So I know as a parent, and I will say my children went through a traditional school, my oldest, and my younger two came through as we were implementing this. And I got to see as a parent how this model impacted their learning, and I got to experience it as a teacher. And it is a bit of growing pains to get things started, but at the same time, at least you know as parents, there are changes happening, and there are people that are making these investments. So, and we'll just keep talking through it, and really everywhere as we go through, you know, ask questions. Let's talk about, what does this look like? What will the changes perhaps be in your schools? Is there anything else from the audience that, you know, you'd like to share or